Okay. Hey, it's Mookie from Mookie The Loyalists, and you're listening to Popularity.
Now, you've released the EP, but do you have a full length in the works as well right now?
Yeah, I guess we just started essentially writing and gathering some ideas and getting the wheels in motion for it recently, so hopefully we can be getting it out sooner than later.
Do you have a vision for the album, or are you just going to let the pieces fall where they may?
Essentially, I think with the EP that we put out in October, I could probably admit that the pieces kind of fell in place over, almost a year and a half. But with this full length, I'm definitely trying to take a different strategy and have an outlying vision and a focus and concentrated sound with every song on the album, and maybe change up the sound a little bit from the kind of mod indie rock thing and move towards a more soulful feel.
What would you say are the key challenges that you faced during the creative process?
Um, Definitely, like the biggest worry I have is always getting stagnant and, not being able to just consistently come up with ideas and good songs that I can always stand by. I think, writer's block is like a huge fear of mine. And then, yeah, just, not being sure if the people that I respect will like the music. But at the end of the day, I guess I just have to do what I can and hope that it's accepted.
Did any of the songs on the EP surprise you by taking a different direction than you initially thought that they would?
Um, yeah, actually, a lot of the songs got, more beefier on the EP, which, was almost like an added surprise, which, gave the music a little bit more energy and a more live feel, which I liked, which was cool.
I wanted to toss a couple songs out there and get your first impressions. First one, Here's Your Warning.
Cool. Here's Your Warning. That tune is maybe one of my favorites off the EP. It was written with a guy named Ben Cook. He's got an awesome style, and he's got like a lot of talent, and just helped me write, just a quick rock and roll dancer song.
What about Concrete Trees?
Concrete Trees. It's definitely just one of those songs, about trying to get out of the city, and I've always lived in Toronto for my whole life. I've just always had like this romantic dream of living in New York or a different city that's, not as city-like and more closer to nature, the woods.
When do you feel that you are in your most creative state?
It's tough to say, I definitely like being up. My family's a cottage up north, and it's by the lake, and there's lots of things to just mellow out with, and close your mind off to a lot of things and just like chill out. I love being up there, and then just downtown in the city, anywhere is always nice.
Creating music is like organizing an accident. What do you think of that statement?
It's so tough because, so many people come from different schools of thought when it comes to writing, and I've always gone back and forth, and I originally thought, a happy accident is a good song, where something just comes to you by chance, but I'm also a firm believer in just making, writing a very habitual thing that you just consistently do, like reading your book or eating breakfast, where you just got to keep continually doing it, and hopefully, every once on a blue moon you get that idea that comes to you in 10 or 20 minutes, but I can't say that ever happens too often.
Can you describe your attraction to music?
My attraction? It's tough to say. I mean, like, I fell in love with just listening to music and singing along to the Beatles when I was young, and then when I first started playing shows and getting out in front of friends and crowds, that's what really sold me, was just being able to get people energetic and dancing and up into their seats. So I think, performing on a stage and playing music to people was the thing that attracted me most.
Is there a song on the EP that you enjoy the most or enjoy performing live the most?
Yeah, Yeah, definitely. I think Here's Your Warning or Walk Away are two of my favorites live. I think there's this part in Here's Your Warning where before the last chorus we drop it out and the music dies, and every time the crowd thinks the song's over, we kind of kick it back before they know it and always surprise them. So that's always fun to do.
Good music is like an onion because it has many layers to it. What do you think of that statement?
It's very valid, I'd say. You know, a lot of music, you know, it's something on the surface, but you know, there's always deeper layers that you can always find out after listening to it more times. So definitely would agree with that.
What would you say has been the best part of your musical journey so far?
Yeah, I played a show that was part of this bigger show that, you know, I was just guesting in, but it was a show at Nathan Phillips Square during the winter where it was freezing. It was, you know, minus 15 or something or minus 20, and I had no idea that people were even going to show up, but all these people, like, braved the storm, and I don't know if it was 1,000 or 2,000 people, but it was probably the biggest crowd I ever played to, and did one song, but it was an awesome feeling. That was probably the best moment.
What's the biggest thing that you've learned about yourself since the initial creation period of the EP?
I guess during the EP, I definitely realized how much I liked, you know, being in the studio. I'd never had much experience, you know, being in a professional studio and tracking things and, you know, learning about mixing and, you know, production techniques. So more than anything, I think I realized or learned how much I love, you know, the sound and the recording process, and, you know, hopefully I can be lucky enough down the road to work on someone else's music and help them, you know, find a sound and work it out.
Is there anything you noticed with this creation process that you realized that you didn't quite like the way something was done and that you want to change for the full length?
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things like, you know, a lot of songs and a lot of, you know, musicians sometimes in the studio, they like to track, say, you know, there's one guitar part, but you can track it 2 times or 3 times and kind of make it a lot beefier in sound. But I definitely realized, you know, been stepping back and want to kind of, with maybe this full length, give the vibe more of a stripped down feeling, but not acoustic stripped down, but more spacey, where you can hear each instrument a lot more clearly, I think.
What are your hopes for this year, for 2011?
A lot. I mean, I hope that, you know, we can keep getting people to listen and buy this EP that we put out in October. We're really proud of it. Hopefully, you know, we can play some more shows and get some more opportunities on festivals or what have you, and put out good music. Just keep it rolling.
Do you have anything that you'd like to say to the readers of Popularity?
Thanks for listening, and be sure to check us out when we come through wherever you live. We'll be playing in Toronto on March 12th, I believe, as part of CMW, and then we'll be in Ottawa and Sarnia, which I think is all on our Facebook page and our website, and that's about it.